Intelligence turns on the light and then floods the room with 1,000 doors. The result isn't momentum, it's pause. When smart scales faster than endings, potential becomes a liability. The people who win aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who finish the most. Ideas impress, completions compound. Here's the pivot. There's one neglected skill that quietly separates the perpetually promising from the consistently effective. Ruthless follow-through. Not more frameworks. Not a perfect plan. The discipline of taking one imperfect path to an actual ending. Today, over the next few minutes, you'll name that path, shrink the friction, and build a streak you can trust. The goal isn't to feel smarter, it's to ship. Quick mirror check. Count your open tabs, saved threads, half-written drafts, brilliant notes you never used. Now ask a harder question. What did you actually ship last week? If the answer stings, that's good. Pain is information. Type one sentence somewhere you can see it. Today I will finish this before I learn anything new. Keep it visible while you watch. By the end, you'll have a simple way to turn intelligence into outcomes without burning yourself out or hiding behind perfection. Less thinking in circles, more endings. Intelligence multiplies options. Finishing deletes them. That's the paradox that quietly starves outcomes. You don't lack insight, you lack endings. You've learned to gather, compare, and refine. You haven't learned to close. Completion isn't a mood. It's a discipline that chooses one path and stays on it long enough to cross a line. The world pays for what crosses lines. Drafts don't compound, deliveries do. Completion is the loudest credential. Look at your week. How many starts became finishes? Notice the reflex to open one more tab, read one more thread, tweak one more metric. That's the mind bargaining for delay. Replace the bargain with a rule. One thread through. Choose a minimum shippable unit, so small it's almost embarrassing. An email sent, a page published, a demo recorded, and move it from pending to done before you allow new intake. The psychic noise drops the moment something leaves your head and enters the world. Today, make a single promise with a hard edge. By time, one concrete thing will exist where it didn't before. Put the deadline on your screen. When it's done, mark it visibly. You're not proving brilliance, you're training endings. Do that daily, and intelligence stops circling and starts compounding. Sophisticated thinking makes choice feel safer, until it makes action feel impossible. The more angles you can see, the more doors you feel responsible for checking. Research feels productive because it reduces uncertainty, but delay accrues interest called friction. Tomorrow's startup cost is higher than today's. Studies on choice overload and decision fatigue point to the same pattern. Abundant options erode momentum, and late decisions are rarely better, just heavier. Delay compounds into drag. Audit the moments you stall. You tell yourself another comparison will save time later. It won't. Pick good enough criteria before you're in the moment. One constraint for quality, one for time, one for ease. Then honor them like laws. If two tools meet the bar, the best is the one you'll actually use today. Create a 10-minute decision box. Set a timer, list the top 2 viable options, circle one, and move. No revisiting unless evidence, not anxiety, demands it. Right now, choose a platform, a file, a template, anything that removes a fork in your path. Type the decision at the top of your working doc so you can't pretend it wasn't made. Then start the clock on a 25-minute sprint and build the first ugly inch. You'll feel lighter the second you commit. Imagine 2 creators. One publishes a solid 0.8 every week. One waits for a 1.0 no human can achieve. A month later, the first has data, momentum, and a thicker skin. The second has a beautified draft and a stomachache. Perfectionism isn't high standards. It's avoidance wearing credentials. It hides risk by postponing exposure. Meanwhile, the only thing that improves standards is repeated exposure. Done teaches what perfect hides. You don't have to lower your bar. You have to separate sequencing. Ship now, refine after feedback. Define where excellence actually matters. Safety, ethics, clarity, non-negotiables. Everything else becomes an evolving layer. Write V0.8 at the top of your work and publish to one real person before day's end. Ask a single narrow question. What confused you? And change exactly one thing before the next release. Give yourself permission to be seen mid-flight. That permission is the bridge from knowledge to craft. Name one piece you're holding hostage to perfection, set a non-extendable 2-hour window, and release it to a small circle by the end of that window. When the reflex to delay arrives, answer with a timestamp, not a feeling. Standards rise faster in public than in private. Talent opens doors. Effort walks through. But there's a twist. Effort invested in the same direction compounds. Scatter it across 10 starts, and you feel busy without becoming better. Point it at one repeatable finish, and skill thickens. Reps metabolize knowledge into intuition. Cadence turns identity from smart to reliable. People trust what you finish, not what you intend. Consistency compounds quietly. Picture a brief vignette. A developer who knows architecture but never ships features gets bypassed for the teammate who ships small improvements weekly. Not because the weekly changes are brilliant, but because they exist. Reality rewards throughput. Build a personal throughput lane by defining a daily finish that takes 30 to 40 minutes. Same window, same ritual. Open the dock. Silence the feed. One task to done. Track streaks publicly, even if the audience is one collaborator. The scoreboard is not vanity, it's accountability. Choose a minimum deliverable you can close today. Push a commit, post a 300-word page, send the proposal draft. Schedule the slot on your calendar with a name that carries weight, like finish block. Protect it with the same seriousness you'd give a meeting. The moment that block ends, mark it visible and walk away. Tomorrow, repeat. Repetition is a strategy, not a sentence. What exactly are you avoiding when you say you're not ready yet? Usually, it isn't ignorance, it's exposure. Smart people feel the weight of being evaluated. The brain protects identity by postponing the moment others can judge. That's why you research past the point of diminishing returns, polish what no one will see, and delay by planning. Underneath is a nervous system asking for safety, not certainty. Call it what it is. Fear of being seen mid-draft, guilt for prioritizing your work, or shame about not matching your own image. Naming reduces charge. Avoidance feeds it. Feelings block finish. Instead of arguing with the feeling, reduce the surface area of threat. Narrow the audience. Shorten the horizon. Give yourself a sentence you can believe. I permit an imperfect version to exist today. Then build a tiny runway. 10 minutes to set up. 20 minutes to complete. 2 minutes to share with one real person. Don't aim for applause. Aim for contact. The world can't help you until it can see you. Right now, write 3 words that describe the feeling that stops you. Put them at the top of your working document. Underneath, write 1 sentence of permission and 1 deadline that fits on a single line. Keep both visible and cross the line before you learn anything new. Saying yes to everything is a quiet way of disappearing. Generosity without edges converts your focus into other people's emergencies. The paradox. You become more valuable to others when your time stops being universally available. Boundaries aren't barbed wire. They're architecture. They create rooms where deep work can occur and doors that open intentionally, not reflexively. Without them, the highest leverage work, finishing, gets the leftover energy after pleasing and putting out fires. Protect time. Protect output. Design 3 layers. First, a daily untouchable 45. Same time, same space, finishing only. Second, office hours for requests, contained windows where you decide to help. Third, a default reply that buys space. I'm at capacity this week. I can revisit next Tuesday. You're not rejecting people. You're protecting the engine that ultimately serves them. Expect pushback, especially from the parts of you trained to be agreeable. Meet it with a principle. Kindness requires containment. Open your calendar and block tomorrow's untouchable 45. Treat it like a meeting with someone you respect. Then draft 1 sentence you'll use to decline the next non-essential request. Use it once in the next 24 hours. Notice how clarity reduces resentment and how much faster endings appear. Your brain is brilliant at loading a context and terrible at reloading 5. Every switch forces a reassembly. Where was I? What mattered? What was next? That invisible tax feels small in the moment and massive in aggregate. The cure is monotony with purpose, one thread carried to completion. Single tasking isn't a virtue signal, it's a throughput strategy. It keeps momentum warm, attention simple, and endings frequent. One thread through. Choose one artifact and one destination. This draft to publish, this feature to merge, this deck to send. Strip the environment to match the decision. One screen, one window, one document. Put your phone in another room. Create a 25-minute box. When the timer starts, you are not allowed to open anything that doesn't directly advance the artifact. If you finish early, stop anyway. Train the association that boxes end and work ships. If you need more time, open a second box, never a second project. Set up a through-line ritual now. Title a document with today's finish. Place it in a folder named SHIP and drag that folder to your desktop. Start a 25-minute timer and move the work forward until a tangible update exists. When the timer ends, save, mark, and step away. Begin today. In the comments, post #ShippedDay1, your start time, your finish time, and the one artifact you moved from pending to done. Return tomorrow for day 2. On day 7, share the biggest change you felt. Less anxiety, more trust in yourself, or simply more endings. Picture 2 desks. On one, your draft opens at login, phone out of reach. A single window fills the screen, and the next action is already typed. On the other, 12 apps auto-launch, notifications glitter, and your browser's first tab is a feed. Same brain, different gravity. We keep trying to out-muscle distraction with willpower when design decides most outcomes before we begin. Make action the default and analysis expensive. Hide what steals momentum. Place what creates endings within one click. Design beats discipline. Start by engineering a clean start. Set your computer to open directly into today's artifact. Move the ship folder to the desktop. Turn off every badge and banner except calendar alarms. Uninstall one tool you only use to procrastinate. You can always reinstall it in a week. Put your phone in another room during finish windows. Create a 2-step macro that opens exactly what you need and nothing else. Tape a tiny checklist by your keyboard. Open arrow, start timer arrow, advance the artifact arrow, save arrow, ship or stage. Tomorrow morning, Let the environment carry you before motivation wakes up. A designer spent months reading about typography, yet clients didn't return. Then she shipped a rough landing page every Friday to a single prospect, asking one focused question each time. Where did your eyes go first? Within 6 weeks, her drafts got cleaner, proposals clearer, conversion rates real. The difference wasn't more theory, it was contact with reality. Shipping is data generation. Feedback turns cleverness into craft. Reality is the best teacher. Choose one living human who benefits from your work. Send them a concrete piece today, a page, a mock, a mini demo, with one narrow question attached. Promise you'll change exactly one thing based on their answer, not 3. Build a reply rule you can keep. Respond within 24 hours, even if only to say what you'll adjust by when. Archive reactions in a single doc so patterns emerge. The loop is simple. Ship arrow, observe arrow, edit arrow, ship. Intelligence grows at the speed of cycles, not the size of libraries. Be honest. Are you protecting an image or building a body of work? Being the smart one feels safe until it forbids beginners' moves. You dodge clumsy starts because clumsy threatens status. You rename avoidance as standards. The fix isn't lowering quality, it's switching identities, from curator of brilliance to apprentice of throughput. Growth requires awkward reps in public. That sting you're avoiding is the very sensation that rewires you. Let yourself be new. Ask one hard question. Where am I hiding behind competence? Pick a task that exposes you a little. Publishing an imperfect note, screen sharing a half-built feature, asking for critique before you feel ready. State the frame aloud. This is a first pass. I want clarity, not compliments. When embarrassment rises, treat it as proof you're on the right street. End each day by logging the most awkward step you took and what it taught you. The record will become armor. The image can wait. The work can't. Autonomy scales when you design for interdependence. Working alone feels noble and quietly fragile. Deadlines you give yourself are easy to renegotiate. Deadlines someone else expects tend to hold. The paradox. Independence requires reliable external anchors. A simple relationship, one person who cares whether you finished, often outperforms elaborate systems. Humans move humans. Networks move work. Pick an accountability mirror. Agree on a daily exchange. By 6 p.m., you each send a screenshot or short loom proving what crossed the line. Keep the ritual boring and predictable. Drama kills consistency. Once a week, hold a 15-minute retrospective. What shipped? What blocked? What's the one adjustment for next week? If you work in a team, schedule shared finish windows where everyone pushes a small unit across the line simultaneously. Momentum is contagious by design, not magic. Build the scaffolding now and let social physics do its quiet job. Work expands to fill the space we grant it. Give a task a day. It takes a day. Give it 40 focused minutes with a hard edge. It often fits, with sharper decisions and less mental bleed. Time boxing isn't a trick. It's a way to force trade-offs into the present moment, so they don't haunt you later. Scarcity clarifies. Abundance blurs. Short boxes ship more. Define 2 25-minute boxes for your next finish. Before the first, spend exactly 5 minutes outlining steps in verbs: draft, cut, title, publish. Start the timer and follow the verbs, not vibes. When the bell rings, stop, even if you want just 5 more minutes. Take a 5-minute walk. Begin the second box only if it directly advances the same artifact. End with a visible handoff. Publish, send, or log the exact next step with a timestamp. The constraint becomes a teacher. Let the box be your boss. Athletes spar to acclimate to contact. Musicians perform for tiny audiences to blunt stage fright. Creators can do the same. Controlled exposures that teach your system nothing catastrophic happens when you miss. Seeking small, safe embarrassments immunizes you against the larger shame that prevents shipping. You are not avoiding failure. You are dosing it on your terms. Tiny losses buy big courage. Write a safe fails list of 3 acts. Post a rough paragraph to a forum with a clear question. Send a draft to a colleague you respect. Demo a half-working feature to a friendly user. Schedule one within 24 hours. Afterward, jot 2 lines. What went worse than expected, and what didn't matter at all. Repeat weekly until your pulse barely moves. Fear shrinks fastest when it meets reality in small, frequent doses. That freedom converts directly into throughput. Streaks forge identity. A week proves possibility. A month installs habit. The protocol is simple. 1 minimum shippable unit every day for 30 consecutive days, reviewed in public weekly, and upgraded by 1 meaningful revision on day 31. You're not chasing speed. You're building a track record your brain can trust. The question shifts from "can I" to "which unit today?" Repetition builds reliability. Print a 30-box card or open a digital grid. Name your streak, something that carries weight. Choose a daily window you can defend even on bad days. Each morning, pick a unit small enough to finish without heroics. Each evening, mark the box and write 1 sentence about what you learned. Every 7th day, review the week with someone and select 1 artifact to polish to version 1.1, nothing more. On day 31, share the before-after. The point isn't a perfect month, it's becoming the person who finishes by default. Intelligence turns lights on. Finishing turns them into exits. You protected a window, chose 1 thread, shrank choices, borrowed momentum, and let small embarrassments teach fast. That's the engine. Clear containers, visible deadlines, simple loops. Ideas impress, completions compound. Start now. Post number shipped day 1 with start time, finish time, and the artifact you moved across the line. Then mark the first box of your 30-day grid and name tomorrow's unit before you sleep. Keep the rule close. 1 minimum shippable unit every day, no heroics. Let the streak carry you. 1 finished inch at a time, intelligence becomes impact.